There is a program that Dr. Kyle Fagla's practice actually is doing right now that I do want to talk about because I really liked it. I thought it was just a fun take on a referral program.
Oh, it's so cute.
Yeah, it's the, so they do this thing, it's called their VIP program where...
Welcome to the Neon Buzz, where we offer marketing advice for oral, aesthetic, and other elective healthcare professionals. Sit back and relax while we share our digital marketing secrets to help you grow your practice.
Welcome to the Neon Buzz. I'm Opal, and I'm back with Emily today, and we're going to be discussing a very hot topic in the elective medical field, and that is referrals. So today we're going to be looking at a few actionable things that you can do to source referrals from doctors, patients, and other areas within your community. Before we dive into it, before I hand it over to Emily, I did want to mention a little note when it comes to referrals, because a lot of times when we do work with practices, we hear that starting a referral program is a little bit overwhelming. So we're going to get into that today. We're also going to talk about ways that you can allocate work within a referral program.
What you really need to do before you get started is to assess all of your resources. You need to know if you have anyone who's available to take on this role, and if so, how much time do they, have for you. So in an ideal world, you have someone on your team who can spare 15 to 20 hours just working on these referral sources. Because it's a long-term commitment and it needs to be a continuous process.
I feel like we've already lost some people.
I know, it sounds scary. I mean, it does. But we are going to cover, a couple different ways that you can mitigate that in the future. So stick around with us and we will find ways to help you work around that, big commitment.
Yeah. All right. So once you've found a person within your practice who can help manage a referral program, a really great place to start is with doctor referrals. So, Emily, what are some ways that practices can reach out to other doctors to try to bring more patients into their practice?
Yeah, so I think, doctor referrals are it almost seems too obvious, right? Of course, if you are an orthodontist, you are going to be getting your referrals from a dentist who is most often seeing these patients on a regular basis. So if you're going to be sourcing them from there, you need to develop partnerships. I mean, this aspect is all about building genuine relationships with the dentists and with their teams, both of which are very, very important for, cultivating this community. So it's mainly about relationship building, and keep in mind how the referral process works, right? So it's not usually the dentist that's going to bring it up. It's usually going to be the mom that comes in and says, hey, I think my kid is ready for braces. Do you have anybody that you recommend? Then they maybe go out front and they've got, a list of orthodontists that they can choose from. The tricky thing here is that there's two factors that you really can't control. Right? You can control the fact that you're on the list, but you can't control whether or not that patient, has insurance that works with your practice or proximity to your practice. They might be kind of far away. Those are just some typical things that might come up that ultimately makes this not a direct ROI pathway.
Yeah, and I think that's something that a lot of people are going to struggle with when it comes to referral sources.
Right.
Is that it's going to be really hard to track the direct ROI, but like you said, a lot of this is relationship building, and it's going to last a long time.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, if it ever comes down to somebody asking somebody else, whether it's a doctor, patient, community member, if you're a good fit, you don't want them to have anything bad to say.
Oh, yeah. You never, that's like the huge thing too, is that you always want to put your best foot forward. So whenever anyone thinks of your practice, we want them to say, oh, wow, they are so nice. They're great care. I only hear great things about them.
Right. And so specifically with doctors, same thing. If a mom goes in and she's asking about your practice, you want them to say good things. Okay. So we know all of those pieces, but how do you actually get in, the referral systems with your doctors? And I think one of the best ways to get started, and just a best practice for most offices, is to have referral pads, very pretty designed, easy to use, that you can provide to these the dentists. But I think that even kind of misses some opportunities, right? Because everybody might not use referral pads. So something that you might do instead is to simply go ask them, how do you prefer to provide referrals? How can I make it easiest for you?
Yeah, and that could look like, someone stopping by the office and saying, we are so-and-so practice. It's so nice to meet you. We'd love to work with you in the future. What's the best way for this relationship to work? How would you like for us to support any referrals from your practice?
Right. And I think just showing, putting that best foot forward is key. Beyond that, though, taking it to the second level would be maybe trying office deliveries. Everybody loves a gift package. Everybody loves to know that you're thinking of them. So, we've seen practices do really well when they take, quarterly gift baskets to their referring dentists. So, for these, you're going to want to spend maybe $50 to $75 each to get them something really nice, that they're actually going to care about. And then also, you're going to, I think a mistake a lot of people make is to send something like donuts or like coffee. People love that.
They do.
But they love it for a day and then they forget it for the year. You want them to love it, keep going with it. So it might even be better to do something like a coffee mug because then, they're going to drink the coffee every day. They're going to see your logo every day, and then you're going to be top of mind the whole year long.
Yeah. I mean, and I'll also get your branding out there a little bit more. But yeah, if you are sending coffee, send a mug, add a little bit something extra, like, $50, $70. Have a list of referring practices that you want to work with too. I think that's a really big part of it, is knowing your dedicated list.
Yeah. And so you might choose between, 20 and 30. So the majority of them are probably going to be dentists who have already referred to you. And then some of them you want to be, people you haven't worked with yet, but that you're interested in working with, just to see if it works out. But don't be afraid to kind of adjust that list as needed, because sometimes, situations change. Maybe people take different insurance, whatever. And you want to have the flexibility to adjust that list for what makes most sense for you and where the referrals are actually coming from.
And I think that's also a good point too, because we talked about it's going to be somewhat hard to prove ROI in different points, but this is an area where you can track what works and what doesn't. So you can say, we work with this practice, we do these deliveries, we've gotten this many referrals from them. Right. Let's continue to build that relationship, look at your list and say, okay, well, this practice, we visited them a few times, nothing's really come of it. Maybe let's put those resources towards another practice we really want to target for this next quarter.
Absolutely. And I agree. It's a better way to track something that's hard to track. So I think, we've got two other ideas. One is to provide discounted treatment to staff. So this would be for staff at your referring dental practice. You could maybe develop a deeper partnership than just offering, referral baskets. And you could say, for anyone who works here, we're going to offer you 10%, 20% off of your total treatment. But positioning it to the dental practice as if it were part of their benefits package. Okay. So that whoever is receiving treatment at the orthodontist, their treatment might be, contingent on the fact that they stay with the dental practice. So not only is it a benefit to you because you're getting more referrals, it's also a benefit to the staff who are getting the discounted treatment, but mainly it's a benefit to the dental practice for, retaining their employees.
So it's a win-win-win.
Yes, triple win. One of those rare ones.
I think a way to also make that work is, being selective with the practices you choose to work with. It's not going to work in every situation, but if there is a practice, let's say it's near you, a doctor that you just love working with, this is something to offer out. Because it also builds that relationship with the team. The team is also referring people to you. So if they are like, oh yeah, I actually send my own kid to this practice, you should send yours too.
Yeah, or I went myself. Yeah. And look at my smile.
It's just like another layer of someone really saying really great things about your practice.
Right. I agree. And then I think the last one that you want to focus on, and this is really if you just really, everything's going well for you and you want to level up, is maybe hosting continuing education events. Say it's around team building in your practice. And then that, of course, is going to help give your referring dentists their CE credits that they need. Oftentimes there's a physical, like an in-person component to those, so then you're providing that for them in an easy basis. But you're also getting a lot of face-to-face time with these dentists in a capacity where you're showing your experience and leadership.
And you're also giving the team some fun outings that they can go to as well.
Exactly. But what you don't want to do is just host a dinner and not offer CE credit.
It'd be hard to get people to go to that.
It would. Even if you're offering free food, sometimes that's hard to do. So be sure that you're offering actually something that they can take away and add value to, their practice.
Well, I think it's really good that you mentioned that this is sort of like the leveled up version of what a like doctor referral program could look like. Because, like you said, it's not always going to work for every single practice to host a CE event, but there are things that you can do where you go beyond just the usual like gift baskets or conversations with doctors. Talked about doctors. I think something else to really focus on are the patients.
Right.
This one's my personal favorite just because I do talk to a lot of clients about different like patient referral programs that they can start. But your patients are going to be one of your best referral sources. That's, they are the people that are actually at your practice experiencing your treatment. They or their children or someone that, they love is getting treatment with you. And they can go out into the community and say, hey, my kid's getting braces treatment with this doctor. I love them. Your kid should go there too. When someone is asking, where should I send my kid?
Yeah. And in that case, they're almost like mini influencers.
Yeah, exactly. They're going through your community, spreading good words about your practice. They're posting about you even, they might snap a photo of their kid at their latest appointment. So really tapping into them, giving them an incentive to refer to you is also going to be really great for the practice. A lot of different practices do referral programs right now. There's a bunch of different ways you can do it. You can do it where you do a monthly, quarterly drawing. You could do it where someone refers to you and they get a gift card or even a discount on or free treatment. There's a variety of ways you can do it. If you don't already have one set up, a great place to start is with a drawing. That could be where a patient refers someone to you and then they get put in, their name gets put into a drawing monthly, quarterly. It just depends on your goals. I think quarterly is a good place to go. And then they get, their name could be pulled every single quarter. We never want to take them out though. I think that's an important point to make because a lot of times practices will run quarterly giveaways and say, okay, well, if you want to be entered in next month, you have to refer another person. And that's kind of a big ask. So we want people to know that they're part of your family at that point. They've already made the cut. They are supporting your practice. They're getting the name out about you. And then that means that they always have an opportunity to win.
Right. And it's not adding or taking away from the effort on your end either.
Yeah.
Because you're just leaving them, in this big bowl of, tickets,
And also too, if someone were to be at your practice, they refer a friend, and then maybe a few months later, they've forgotten about the referral. They get a message from you saying, hey, thank you so much for this referral. You've just won this prize. You bring them, you're back at the top of their mind again. And they're like, oh my goodness, I'm going to spread the word more because this is awesome.
Yeah.
But yes, drawings, those are great. You could have a variety of gifts just because depending on the practice, you might have, a kid could win it, a mother could win it. You want to make sure that there's something that they can pick from. Something a little bit higher ticket as well because, a referral is a lot of money. So if they do refer someone to your practice, that's a lead, and we want to make sure that it's worth their time to refer someone to you. There is a program that Dr. Kyle Fagla's practice actually is doing right now that I do want to talk about because I really liked it. I thought it was just a fun take on a referral program.
Oh, it's so cute.
Yeah, it's the so they do this thing. It's called their VIP program where if a family or if they do this thing where if a family refers someone to the practice, then they will automatically get sent a letter thanking the family, saying you've been entered into our VIP program. At the very end of the year, we will choose a VIP family. They will have a photo shoot. They will pretty much just be like the practice ambassadors, and they will also receive a gift of free treatment that they can give to a loved one, family member, or someone in need.
Yeah, and that's so cool because, like you said, they're like smile ambassadors for the community, and then they're also just so much more encouraged to spread smiles,
Yeah.
And who doesn't love that? It makes them the hero, which I think you were saying earlier.
Yeah, that's the big part of it too, is that you're putting it back on them. They then have a pretty much golden ticket that's worth a couple $1,000 for someone to get treatment done. So in addition to that initial letter, anytime they do refer someone to the practice, they get another one. So it's pretty much just more chances for them to become the VIP family that's chosen at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, that's so heartwarming.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. I think it spreads a really awesome message about the practice, but also it gets them excited to refer people, which is the big goal here.
So I think a pitfall that a lot of people fall into, though, when they're doing these patient referral programs is they're saying, send us a referral, you'll be entered into win if the patient starts treatment.
Oh, no. Yeah.
I mean, and I can see how if you haven't been seeing all of these referral systems like we have all the time, that might be a good idea because you want the patient to start. But you're asking them to jump through not one huge hoop of getting someone to actually go to a consultation, but two, and the fact that they also have to make a huge financial commitment.
Yeah. Too much is like up in the air for a person to, in my opinion at least, to put the effort into referring someone because they're like, okay, well, I don't even know if they're going to go. And if they do go, like you said, I don't even know if they're going to start. So that's something that needs to come back on the actual practice. So once the person has shown up, it is on your team to close the sale.
Exactly. Just get leads.
Yeah. But yes, the VIP program, love that. Practices can do a bunch of different things. Drawings, just direct gift cards for people that start or going that little extra effort and starting an actual like program where they're consistently reaching out to people who refer. But that pretty much covers it on the patient side.
But it doesn't cover it all together.
I know,
because we still have the community aspect. And this is a little bit different because I think there's a lot of ways that you can get community referrals, but it's much more brand awareness centered and a little bit more ambiguous or organic maybe than patient referrals or doctor referrals. So one of our favorite ways to do this, specifically for orthodontists, is to work in schools because, you've got both the kids and a lot of times the moms and the dads who are present in these systems.
Yes.
So you've got a lot of touch points for possibly getting referrals, but also teachers can be referrers. Their school systems can. A good way to get started is really to get involved with the PTA.
Yes. I think that's something, too, that a lot of people don't think about.
Right.
Because we hear all the time, like, how do I get into these schools? PTA, that's awesome. They're always looking for support.
They always want small business support. They have a lot of goals. What they need is the funding to do them. So if you were to go up to them and say, hey, I want to support you, what do you need? That speaks volumes because the parents who are running this organization are thinking, wow, they really care about my students and they're allowing us the ability to do what we need to do to move forward. So you're giving them a very good experience with you right off the bat. Another way to do this, though, is to, potentially give back to school packages to teachers because your teachers are referrers. So maybe consider putting a back to school gift basket in the teacher's lounge right when school starts.
Oh, I love that.
I know, it's really cute. Because, my parents are teachers. I know they would love this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a little gift to make them think of you, especially on a fun day like that. But you could do that throughout the year maybe. And surprises.
Like if they offer teacher discounts too, making sure that they're aware of them and all that.
Exactly. Yeah, I think a lot of practices do teacher discounts, educator discounts. And that's a great way to get the teachers in the door at your practice or their students. And then again, they become patients and then they become referrers. Another good way is to do maybe school sponsorships. So the best way to do that is, again, to do something that's lasting. So maybe like car rider tags, for example. Those are a really good one that I've seen come through quite a bit.
Yeah.
Recently, we did a creative request for someone who wanted to do a basketball banner. So they wanted to put up a banner in the basketball arena for the whole season. And that's really fun because they're going to keep coming back and seeing it. And it shows that you are a fan of their school just the same way they are fans of their school.
Yeah, and it also puts that like support right in the face of anyone who's attending a game.
Absolutely. Silent auctions, calendars.
The take-home folders too.
The take-home folders are a great one.
Anytime your kid, or a patient's kid needs to come home with their folder, they have your brand right there. That recognition.
Over time, subconsciously sticks with you. You might also want to go speak to schools. For example, give age-appropriate education on, why you need orthodontic treatment. And then you're back in the child's mind when they go to tell their parents what they did in that day. So that's for schools, and there's a million ways you can do it, but that's just a few ideas that you can run with. On the other hand, you might also work in your community with a charity of your choice. Maybe, choose something that your audience also feels strongly about, and then pitch in. And you're just getting your face out there. You're showing that you are giving back. I know that's huge in Memphis specifically. Like, we really appreciate people who love Memphis and give back. And I know that's the case in cities all across the country.
Yeah, I talk to a lot of our clients about this too, is that we want to see local supporting local. How are you giving back to your community? How are you building up, developing the people, the kids within your community?
Absolutely. So again, there's 100 ways you can take that, but maybe just pick a few things throughout the year. And remember that this is another thing where it's long term. It's not going to be direct ROI, but you will see it, down the road. And it's an investment that really does count.
Yes, I love that though. I think any way that practices can give back to their community, whether that's starting at the schools, working with charities, or even doing like community events. There's so much that can be said for showing how you are a local business supporting other local businesses.
Absolutely.
But that pretty much covered the main areas we wanted to hit on today. At the beginning of this episode, we did talk about how starting a referral program can be a little bit daunting, just because of the effort that goes into it. So for anyone who's listening who heard all this and they're like, I don't have the resources to do that. That's way too much work. There's no one on my team who has a free even 5 hours.
Right.
Something that you can do is, focus on one of these things. And I think the best place to start is patience.
Absolutely.
Patients are right there. They're going to be the easiest to reach. You could just start a drawing, like I mentioned earlier. See how that goes. Once you sort of built up and got, a team member, like let's say they only have a couple hours a week, they are dedicated towards reaching out to those patients, or even setting up like an automated system saying, hey, thank you for visiting us. Don't forget, we have this awesome referral program. That's, once that gets going, then see if you can branch out into these other ideas.
Right. And that is as simple as creating a social graphic, a flyer for your office, and just posting it and saying, this is the referral program that we've got going on. I mean, we do this all the time. And that is something that you can easily be done in just a few hours of the week, but still reaching a wide audience.
Yeah, it's still starting somewhere. And then, once you've got your footing with that, you can get into reaching out to doctors and all that. But we just want to get the point across, really, that you can still do a referral program without stressing about resources.
Right. And I think ultimately the biggest takeaway is not to go out and do all of these. Even if you have somebody who had 40 hours a week to do this, don't do all of them. Don't come up with a humongous list of ideas and try to do them all at once. You want to pick the things that you can do well and that you can do consistently. Because it's that overtime repetition that matters so much more than going out and just doing this, like firestorm of everything all at once.
Yeah. And also too, I feel like that would really spread a person thin if they're just starting out.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, that's all we have today when it comes to referrals. If anyone has any questions and you're watching this on YouTube, please feel free to leave it in the comment section. If not, please reach out to us on social media. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you have about starting a referral program, or even some fun marketing ideas on how to get the word out about it. Thank you, Emily, and we will catch you guys later on the Neon Buzz.